Praise the Lord. Welcome to DYD. I'm Lady Pamela Price. How you doing today? I'm so happy you're here. Listen, we are in the book of Numbers. I know this has been a long book, but there are different stories in this book, right? And that's the way the Bible is. You know, when you read Kings, you're going to run into a whole lot of stories within that book. And in this book, they're very interesting, right? You have to admit, it's very interesting. Now, last time, because I said we in what, part 17? Yes, we've been covering a lot. And so we're going to pick back up because I got to go through this. I think last time we left off with the daughters of Zelophehad, and he had 5 daughters, and we were talking about the inheritance. Usually the men just got the inheritance, right? But these 5 daughters went to Moses and began to ask, well, what about us? What about us? And God said, told Moses, they're right. Their inheritance can come through either the brother of the one who passed away, which is their father, and so they can get that inheritance. So now in this particular chapter, chapter 27, we learn that it's time for Moses to sleep now, for him to die and go to glory. Now, God tells him that. He said, listen, it's time for you to come on in, but I need for you to go ahead and basically anoint Aaron's son, which is Eleazar. And did I just say that? Did I say that? I'm wrong. He told him to anoint who? Joshua. I'm thinking about the priest, but Eleazar would be the priest, but it's Joshua. Did you know that? Joshua. I know you were going, wait a minute, isn't it Joshua? Yes, it's Joshua. I know what I was thinking about. Let's go in, let's read it, let's do what we do best. We do what we get in the Word of God. Let's read verse 12 through 23, because Joshua is going to be the next leader. Yes, he's going to be the next leader. So let's pick up at 27 and 12, and I'm going to read that all the way down 22 to 23rd. So let's see what happened, what God says. Now the Lord said to Moses, go up into this Mount Abarim and see the land which I have given to the children of Israel. He tells him to go look. And when you have seen it, you also shall be gathered to your people as Aaron your brother was gathered. For in the wilderness of Zin, during the strife of the congregation, you rebelled against my command to hallow me at the waters before their eyes. Remember that? These are the waters of Meribah and at Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. Then Moses spoke to the Lord, saying, let the Lord, the God of the spirit of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, who may go out before them and go in before them, who may lead them out and bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord may not be left like sheep, which have no shepherd. And the Lord said to Moses, take Joshua, the son of Nun, with you, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay your hand on him. Set him before Eleazar the priest. See, that's where I was at right there. Set him before the priest and before all the congregation and inaugurate him in their sight. And you should give some of your authority to him, that all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. He shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall inquire before the Lord for him by the judgment of the Urim. At his word they shall go out, and at his word they shall what? Come in. He and all the children of Israel with him. All the congregation. So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua. What? He took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation. And he what? Laid his hand on him and inaugurated him just as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses. Let's talk about it. Here Joshua is going to be the next one in leadership. You know, Joshua has been with him. You remember that? Watch this. Also, this is another generation. Yes, we call it the generation of Joshua, Joshua's generation. Many of, watch this generation, parents have died. Remember, they messed up. So it's 40 years has really come to pass. And it's time for the children who their fathers say will not, they're not going to inherit the place. They're going to inherit Canaan land, just as God has promised. Somebody has to do it. Now, this is what has taken place in the book of 27. Let's go to 28. Let's go in. And now in the book of 28, we learn that that generation that did not believe God has, in the wilderness, died. Yes, they did. Remember that? Watch this. So Moses was responsible for teaching the next generation. Guess what? Moses has to teach the next generation. Yes, you got to pass the information down to them. Moses is responsible for that. Here we go. We learn that it's time for Moses to die and pass the torch to who? Joshua. Yes. But before Moses dies, he must ensure they continue that which God has established for the children of Israel. In the 28th chapter, God is going to tell Moses to teach them, continue to teach them about the daily offerings. So here in chapter 28, it says, here he goes over the different offerings. They got to know about the offerings, right? He goes over the different offerings, what must be done, how to do it. Watch this. Also in this particular chapter, the daily burnt offerings, watch this, along with the grain offerings and the drink offerings. This is not really that hard. You too can know about the Old Testament, what about the offerings and the different things they did. And that's what I'm teaching you. This is not that complicated. Is it? Somebody shake your head and say, no, it ain't. No, yeah. They had to do burnt offerings and what? Drink offerings, and they had to do what? Grain offerings. Watch this. He tells them to do an offering in the morning and an offering in the evening. Let's move in. He also tells them about their Sabbath offering. In this particular chapter, it goes over the Sabbath offerings and its requirements. That's what's in this chapter also, how they're going to handle the Sabbath offerings. Also in this particular chapter is about the monthly offerings to be offered every month. Look at that. He gives the requirements for that. Also in this chapter is the offerings at Passover and its requirement. All right, let's go in. In this particular chapter, it deals with the offerings at the Feast of Weeks. What are you going to offer at the Feast of Weeks? We know they have at least 3 feasts, right? And what are they going to offer that he got to teach the next what? Generation. Chapter 29. Somebody shout chapter 29. Chapter 29. Moses gives them the instructions on the offering that is to be done at the Feast of Trumpets. It's continuing on. Here's a feast. The Feast of what? Trumpets. Here's the instructions for that is in chapter what? 29. Watch this. The offerings on the Day of Atonement. The details. Watch this, which is on that particular one, it's a day 10, and that was done on the 7th month. Then it has the offerings, watch this, at the Feast of Tabernacle. We've gone over that, giving that generation how to do the offerings at the Feast of Tabernacle. And that particular feast was done, what, on the 15th day of the 7th month every year. Let's go in, let's go in. And then it says for 8 days, what? They had, I'm getting there, here we go. On the 8th days, they had to offer an offering on the 8th day. Here are the details in where? In the 29th chapter. Let's move in. We're going to chapter 30. Come on, let's go. Moses covered the guidelines on vows. In this particular chapter, God covers the what? The vows. What is a vow? Come on, somebody. Let's see if you know. What is a promise to the Lord, right? This is this vow voluntary that someone is going to do something. They volunteer and say, Lord, I'm going to do this, and they're going to do something. They're going to abstain from something. This is something they came up with, right? Let's read, I have here, chapter 30, let's read verse 2. If a man makes a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by some agreement, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. So this right here is what a vow is. And you know, with the children of Israel, they can make vows to the Lord, right? But they have to keep it. They have to do what? They have to keep it. Here we go. Now, when it came to a woman, the man who was over her, like her father or her husband, they can override her vow. You say, what? Yes, right here. The father over a daughter, man and his wife, he could stop, he can void out her vow. Like she said, you know what? I'm going to do this for you, to you, Lord. I'm going to offer this to you. And her father hear that and they go, wait a minute, hold up. No, you're not. And God has to respect what the father says or what a husband said. Watch this. Her vow from her, it says he could stop her vow from being binding if he heard it and he stopped it. Let's go in. Now let's move on. We're going somewhere. Chapter what? Chapter 31. Woo, we getting out of here. Here we go. Chapter 31. The attention now goes back to the Midianites. Somebody tell me what happened with the Midianites. You remember the Midianites? Who's the king? King Balak? God ain't forgot what they did. Come on, somebody. So it goes back, chapter 31 goes back. The vengeance on the Midianite is going back to them. King Balak had seduced the children of Israel with their women, remember that, and had them to worship idol gods and watch it. They had to worship Baal of Peor. Watch this. 24,000 people died behind that of the children of Israel. What? 24,000. And so they must pay for their part for doing that. Now, 24,000 of the children of Israel died. Now, it has to be something on their part. They got to get paid back. God said, You remember God told Moses, we're going to harass them now. God's coming back for them. So in this particular chapter is where they deal with that. Now let's go to 31, 1 through 11. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Here you go. And the Lord spoke to Moses saying, here it is. Take vengeance on the Midianite for the children of Israel. Afterwards, you shall be gathered to your people. He telling Moses afterwards, you shall be gathered to your people. So Moses spoke to the people saying, arm some of yourselves for war, and let them go against the Midianites to take vengeance for the Lord of Midian, for the Lord on Midian. 1,000 from each tribe of all the tribes of Israel you shall send to war. Just what? Just 1,000 of each tribe. Watch this. So there were recruited from the divisions of Israel 1,000 from each tribe. So that equal to what? 12,000 armed for war. Then Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 from each tribe. He sent them to the war with Phinehas, the son of Eleazar the priest, with the holy articles and the signal trumpet. It said in his hand. And they warred against the Midianites, just as the Lord commanded Moses. And they killed all the male. What? They killed the king of Midian with the rest of those who were killed. It says Evi, Rechem, Azur, Hur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian. Wait a minute, here it is. Balaam. What? Do y'all remember that name? Balaam, the son of Beor. It says they also killed with the sword. That's that prophet, isn't it? Yes. It says, and the children of Israel took the women of Midian captive with little ones and took as spoil it says, all their cattle, all their flocks, and all their goods. They also burned with fire all the cities where they dwelt and all their forts. And they took all the spoils and all the booty of man and of what? Beasts. Woo! Did y'all hear that? Yes. They went in. They only took 12,000. You know, the children of Israel rolled 600,000 deep. Yes. That's how many they get. And they only took 1,000 and they went in there and dominated and won the war. God put them into their hand. So we see that Balak, the king of Balak, and his group end up getting defeated. And who else died in there? Balaam. Y'all remember him? Balaam. Yeah. Why did he get it? He gave the advice. You know what? He started telling, because he gave him that. He said, listen, all you got to do is send some women in there. Send some women in there. This is how you can get them cursed. Yeah. God heard all that. Let's go in. Let's go to 12 through 20. Here it is. Return from the war. It said, not sure why the men kept the women. Now, you know, when they went in there, did you know those, when they went and killed all the men, they kept the women and some of the children. And yeah, let's read it. Then they brought the captives, the booty, and the spoil to Moses, to Eleazar the priest, and to the congregation of the children of Israel, to the camp in the plains of Moab, by the Jordan across from Jericho. And Moses, Eleazar the priest, and all the leaders of the congregation went to meet them outside the camp. But Moses was angry, what? With the officers of the army, with the captains over thousands and captains over hundreds who had come from the battle. And Moses said to them, have you kept all the women alive? Look, these women caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam, remember that? Through the counsel of Balaam to trespass against the Lord in the incident of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known a man intimately, but keep alive for yourselves all the young women who have not known a man intimately. And as for you, remain outside the camp. He said, wait a minute, and remain outside the camp 7 days. Whoever has killed any person, and whoever has touched any slain, purify yourself and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. And it says here, purify every garment, everything made of leather, everything woven of goat's hair, and everything made of wood. So we see here that they saved all the women. That's what got them in trouble last time. Let me move on. So they have all the Midianites' goods. Here God tells them how to divide it, because they have all this goods, all this booty. Yes. They were the first to divide. They was first to divide it in two for those who took part in the war. So they was to divide all this goods that they have. They were supposed to divide it in two. The ones who went to war, they were going to divide it, and they was going to take the other half and divide it amongst the what? Children of Israel. And it says here, details in verse 32 through 37. I'll let you read it. This is details on how they had, how much they had. They had a whole lot. Here it tells how the officers of the armies came to Moses and brought an offering of gold. Those officers who was over the people, the army, they brought gold to Moses, and they were very appreciative that God had saved their lives. No one died in this war. And so they took that and made something, but they was very appreciative to God for that. It says they offered the gold jewelry they had, because after they counted all their men, not a man was missing. Look at that. Here they came and defeated their enemies. Balaam died, the king died, and some other people died. But now they have taken possession of all their goods, all the booties of the land. And by the way, that word means the goods, huh? Yes, the goods of the land. They end up taking all their goods, and the Lord defeated their enemy. Somebody had to pay. 24,000 of the children of Israel died behind them seducing them. But God had to, God had to clean up all the mess from that. contamination could have spread it through the children of Israel. Because actually, remember that one that got real bold enough to bring his girlfriend, the Midianite, up in the camp. And remember that priest came in with the javelin and stabbed her? They had to get rid of that sin that was in the camp. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, we coming back in. I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm going through pretty fast, but we're still going somewhere. We're in the book of Numbers, and we're almost finished with it. I hope you've been hanging in there because you need to know what it's all about. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Parents, thank you so much for allowing your child to watch DYD. It is my heart's desire that every child be ministered to. Parents, I'm going to need your monthly financial support in order for this ministry to continue daily. I just believe by faith that God will lay on your heart an amount that you can consistently give into this ministry. Trust me when I say that the daily investment of the Word of God into your child's life is priceless. I've done this for 21 years and I've seen the results. Will you partner with me? Go to the donation page, and from there, you will be a blessing to this ministry. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.